So let's have a little chat, shall we? You know, I got a channel, spiritual channel, and it makes perfect sense why a lot of people are trapped in the matrix, as they call it. I like to call it the world of illusions and delusions and confusions. Not to sound hoity-toity, but you know what I'm saying. You see, at certain at certain nexus points in our lives, we go through certain ascensions, and we go through certain lessons. And because we were not raised in the proper spiritual environment, we were all Christianized, we weren't properly raised, and we weren't properly, let's just say, trained to deal with the different ascensions and different lessons and what we call challenges that we go through, myself included, because the spirits had to take me back and show me that the nexus point of a lot of my problems started when I was around 11. Because see, it doesn't matter what age you are. There is no age in the spiritual realm. There's no age when it comes to your subconscious mind or the God part of you. That part of you, well, let's just say your soul is unlimited. There is no age limit on it. It's very old and very ancient. So it's really no particular human age on it. So with that being said, it doesn't matter what age you are. When you go through challenges and lessons, you go through challenges and lessons. Your age does not have a bearing on that. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to go back to my childhood, and I had to re-examine some of the challenges that I went through and some of the lessons that I had to go through at a very early age. That is why a lot of times people say to me, "You're so calm, cool, and collective when challenges arise," because I have experience now and I have spiritual training now in how to deal with those challenges and lessons. We get caught up in the lesson, and then we end up missing the blessing. And it's really no fault of our own. It's because we have not been properly trained. We have lost our sense of spirituality, and it was replaced with something that did not prepare us for the things that we would face in this reality. So what ends up happening to people is this. Really and truthfully, the only change is the changing of our perception of things. And then once your perception changes, then you begin to create a reality based upon that change. And that is how people are getting trapped in the cycle of reincarnation. That is why people cannot move on to the everlasting life of the quantum world, because we're caught in a loop. Because we have allowed the lesson to become the curse. And when I say curse, I'm only speaking in terms of repeating negative cycles. There are many different types of curses. There are many different levels of curses. I'm only speaking in terms of repeating a negative cycle. once you begin to really become enlightened and your eyes are opened, then you will begin to see clearly that lessons are nothing but blessings in disguise. But like a lot of us, myself included, because I don't take myself out of the equation, because no real spiritualist is going to pretend like they don't have problems or issues. How else can we fucking relate to people if we don't have problems and issues? I've never met a perfect spiritualist. And I don't deal with perfect spiritualists. Because in order for you to see something, you have to, or in order for you to heal something, you have to see the imperfections first. Doesn't mean you're going to heal every single thing. But you can heal enough to get you through your journey, to get you to the next level, to get you out of this state of going around in a circle, repeating the same pattern over and over and over and over again. So if you're going through a lesson right now, like we all are, I'm going through one right now. Let's just say that. If you're going through a lesson, don't allow that lesson to block your blessing. Because ultimately what fucks us up is the fact that our perception gets altered in these lessons because of the trauma that we may be experiencing. And then we start creating a reality based upon that trauma because we can't see the blessing that's ahead of us. You keep your eyes on that. And don't be distracted by negative motherfucking niggas, negative bitches, lying ass people who just want to keep you trapped in a lower vibration. You feel what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who are just used as distractions to keep you from getting to where you need to get. You could be at a precipice right now. You could be on the edge of a precipice, getting everything you want, but it can fuck you up when you have one person or something that is distracting you from opening that door so you can walk into the reality that you really deserve and the reality that you've been working so hard for a long time. You know? And there are a lot of distractions right now, especially for black people, that are keeping you trapped. Donald Trump is one of them. Not a question about whether I like him or not. I don't give a fuck about him either way. But he's one of them. Black people, especially you black men, you have allowed this motherfucker to control your reality and your perception for the past 4 motherfucking years. 4 is a powerful occult number. People always look at the number 3, but the number 4 lays the motherfucking foundation. 3 is the manifestation. 4 is the foundation. You have allowed this motherfucker for the past 4 years to distract you, to block you from your blessing, because you got caught up in the lesson. You got caught up in repeating the lesson. You have allowed this man to change your perception, to change your reality. You've allowed him to suck you motherfucking dry because he's a distraction. See, he was never a distraction for me because I already knew what was up. Not when he first got elected, but after maybe about a year, I got it. And I began to understand what was really happening. Now, does that mean that I hate him? No. I'm just speaking occult because that's what I do. I am the occult view. You see, black people, especially black men, you were supposed to learn a lesson behind Donald Trump being elected in office. See, Donald Trump was a mirror for you to show you how you have been treating other black people for a very long time. He was a mirror showing you what you have been doing to the black community for many, many years. I know a lot of y'all not going to like that, but I'm speaking in the spirit right now. I'm not speaking human wise. This is no personal attacks. This is for myself included. Donald Trump was a lesson. He was a lesson for you. But instead of you understanding the lesson, it blocked your blessing. I remember in Tales from the Hood, Part 1, and this was the last segment, when that criminal that was killed in the last segment, he went to a, what do they call it? A reprogramming institute. It was like a prison, and it was called a rehabilitation program or something like that, where they were going to reprogram him and put him back out into society. It was some type of experimental program. And Rosalind Cash, the divine Rosalind Cash, she played the director. This was her last role, if I'm not mistaken, before she passed. She played the director of this institution. And she put this criminal, this black guy, in a cell with a racist white man because she was trying to teach him a lesson. She was his last hope. Because that's what the black woman is. Anyway, the black woman is the redeemer. Just like Jaguar Wright is the redeemer, but that's another story. I'll get into that in another video. She was his redeemer. He did not learn the lesson. And it blocked his blessing because we found out that she was actually a gateway angel who led people to symbolically, I'm speaking symbolically, not the actual synopsis of the movie. Symbolically, she was a gateway entity of death, and she was giving him an opportunity to cleanse his heart, to make his heart light as a feather. But he was so full of bitterness and so full of hatred. He was so full of bitterness and hatred, he didn't get the lesson. And he perished. Donald Trump is a lesson. And you're not, and a lot of black people are not getting it. Especially black men. Black women are getting it. I see change in black women. I see change in black women all the time. Black men are not getting it. Most of them are not getting it. Because your perception is being manipulated and altered. And that's what's keeping a lot of you niggas trapped in this world. That is why when you die, you cannot move on to the quantum world of the everlasting life, to the realm of the gods. You can't move on because you're still attached to the trickery of the lessons that you were supposed to learn here. All of that shit about ascended masters and all that shit, that's a demonic motherfucking game that's being played with you by lesser motherfucking beings. You are the ascended master. You don't need no motherfucking ascended masters. You are the ascended master. You are an ascended master having a human experience so you can learn a lesson. Whatever spiritual realm that I go into, I don't see no motherfucking ascended master because I am the ascended master. That's me, and that's you too. Do not allow the lesson to block your blessing. Because it goes even deeper than that, and I don't really feel like getting into it, but it goes even deeper than that. Because the lesson can also block you from moving on from this place once you die. Because the object is not to have to come back to this realm again. And if you're carrying burdens from lessons that you think you didn't learn, If you're carrying all of those burdens with you when you die, you're going to come right back into the uterus of another woman and be born right back into the illusion, the confusion, and the delusion. So what I'm saying is this, and this is for myself included. I don't exclude myself from this. We have to be aware of when we're going through ascensions, and we have to know what to do when we're going through those ascensions. And the first step is acknowledging and understanding, oh, I'm going through an ascension. And when you're going through, this is some free information I'm giving you, when you're going through this ascension, don't think of it, have your moments. Don't get me wrong, we're going to have human moments. Nobody can say, oh, you can just sit there and nothing. No, we're having a human experience. If somebody dies that you're close to, you're going to grieve for that human life. Lord knows, I've gone through that time and time again. But see, the problem with me was I kept getting it. How can I say this? Because I want to say it in the right way. The problem with me was, and I noticed it was, when people would die or transition, I subconsciously programmed my mind to believe that they were abandoning me. And I began to create a reality based upon abandonment, sadness, and depression. See, real spiritualists are going to tell you what their weaknesses are. See, I'm going to tell you who I am. I'm not going to hide that. So I began to create relationships with people that were based upon abandonment, depression. And I began to form relationships with people who were not genuine and who had, bad intentions towards me. Not anymore, because I see people for who the fuck they are. I'm not a friendly person, because I know that a lot of people that come across my motherfucking desk, they have ulterior motives. But there are more people that love me than don't. See, I know that now. But see, the perception based upon the lessons I was going through, I thought everyone hated me. I thought people did not like me. But then the Spirit came through and said, wait a minute. More people love you than hate you. Yeah, you got a couple of people that don't, whatever, and that's okay. They step to me and get in my motherfucking road, I'll chop their fucking head off. No fucking problem. Because that's what I do. No problem. I will destroy them. You get in my way, I take you out. And people can take that however the fuck they want to. You get in my lane, I'm going to fuck you up. And I don't care who you are. But I was creating relationships based upon abandonment, not based upon genuine interaction. I was creating relationships based upon that abandonment type of energy, because I went through a lesson when I was very young, when I was around 8 years old, when I lost my grandmother, who I was very close with, by the way. I created a reality based upon her transition, but the reality that I created in my own subconscious mind was that of betrayal, abandonment, because I was a child and I did not understand that I was going through an ascension. An ascension was coming, and an even bigger one was coming a few years after she died. That was just the tip of the iceberg, her death. Because you can go through an ascension for several years. You can go through an ascension for many years where you are learning different types of lessons. But because we are not spiritually equipped to deal with them, we get lost in the lesson. And ultimately, we get trapped in this reality. And when we die, we have to come back, and we're trapped in those same variations of those lessons again. And that is what's happening to a lot of people. We're getting trapped in the lesson, and we're never reaching the blessing. See, I've eaten off of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I've eaten off of that tree. And now I get it. I get where I got stuck now. And this has nothing to do with anybody else and what other people may have done to you along the way. At the end of the day, we've created, our minds are very powerful, and we create the reality that we want. And we don't create the reality in this physical body. We're creating it from the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not care about people dying. The subconscious mind doesn't care about your human emotions. It just does what you send it. And we don't have control over our minds or our perception the way that we should. So here's what you do. If you find yourself going through what people would call trials and tribulations and all types of changes that you feel as though, you have no control over, understand this: you're going through an ascension process. And while it's very challenging, what you do is you try to focus on something that you've been wanting, something that you have been preparing for, something positive. Okay? You focus on that instead of focusing on what's going on around you. You deal with whatever it is going on around you. You deal with it. But you don't focus on it to the point that it takes your focus off of the prize, which is your blessing, which could be getting out of this matrix. You feel what I'm saying? I am here to help people, to raise people up so they can get out of this matrix, so they won't get trapped and tricked by these lower level fucking entities who call themselves ascended masters, trying to keep you trapped, telling you got to come back here and do something over and over again. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the trick. That is the trick. You are the ascended master. I am the ascended master. You don't need anybody doing anything for you. Especially black women. You all definitely don't need anybody doing anything for you. You are the ascended masters. You've been pushed aside. You've been pushed aside. But you are the real, true ascended motherfucking masters. Anyway, I just wanted to come through and drop this little enlightenment, because this was a channel that came through to me while I was in meditation. And I actually heard the Spirit speaking. Don't allow the lesson to block your blessing. Thank you.